My fellow eBayers and resellers, grab your tinfoil hat so that we can sit down and openly discuss what I think is the biggest eBay conspiracy that I have yet to discover. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and boy do we have a lot to get into today. If you're new here, my name is Daniel. I'm a part-time eBay reseller that focuses almost entirely on used golf clubs and used bags, and I have an absolute return saga that I want to share with you. In my over 300 items sold on eBay over the last 2 years, I've only had 2 returns, and this last one was an absolute odyssey that lasted over 10 days with multiple account holds. I want to tell you exactly what went down, what exactly happened with eBay support, and how it all throttled my eBay sales. Now, I don't have anything other than data and gut feeling to back it up, and I'm not accusing eBay of anything, but to me it seems way more than a coincidence with what happened to my sales during this whole return. So I'm going to take you through the return, then I'm going to show you my eBay sales metrics during the month so far, and then I'm going to show you the top 10 things that I've sold so far this month, almost all of which was sold after this eBay return saga ended, literally hours after this eBay return saga ended. So if you're new here, subscribe, drop a like, and let me know what you think about this data down below in the comment section. So the reason that I love reselling golf clubs on eBay is because customer returns really don't happen. When a buyer is out there searching eBay for a club, they know the make, they know the model, they know the loft, they know the exact condition that golf club is in if you take great pictures as a seller. So in the over 350 items that I've sold in the past 2 years, I've only had 2 customer issues. The first is a iron set that I sent to a buyer via UPS that never arrived. And if I look at the tracking information, it was very clear from that case that the item in fact got lost in transit. And me being a new reseller at that time, I freaked out. I didn't contact eBay at all. I did not want a negative rating, so I refunded the buyer. I was into this iron set for $150. The buyer bought it for $400, and I refunded the buyer everything, including shipping. So I was out more than $150. And if you're a new reseller, that is not the way to go about it. What I'm going to show you is actually how I handled this second customer return request. And surprisingly, eBay backed me up. There's a lot of bad press out there about eBay. There's a lot of information saying that eBay doesn't stand by their sellers. And I could not disagree more based off of the experience that I had in this second return. Now, you'll have to stay with me here. This is where the second case starts, and it is an absolute saga. And I can't share it. I really want to share it, but I want to protect the innocent here and not show what they sent to me. I have no problem showing y'all what I sent to them, but I'm basically going to walk you through this second return case. And it all started on July 4th. On July 4th, I received a notification on eBay that a buyer had opened up a dispute requesting a refund, and they opened up a not all items included dispute, which was the first time that my radar kind of perked up, because it's really hard not to receive an entire putter in a box. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it arrived damaged. Maybe they're trying to say that something is wrong with it, which is, again, very hard to do with a solid putter. But I went ahead and reached out to the buyer and asked them if they could explain what's going on, and they told me that the item was never delivered. So my next step was to go directly to the UPS website, put in the tracking information, and this is the second instance that I knew something was up here. The UPS tracking information actually said the item was delivered, and then in quotes it said, met the buyer. So they had met somebody, dropped it off to them, and felt it appropriate to write down that the UPS service had met the buyer. So I thought about it for a second, replied back to the buyer, asked the buyer if by any chance they lived in an apartment complex, maybe it got delivered to the wrong unit. And they replied, no, I live in a house. So with it being July 4th, customer service for eBay was actually closed. I called on July 5th, and within a minute, eBay responded back to me, gave me a phone call, and they advised me that since the buyer opened up a not all items included dispute instead of a item not delivered dispute, that I would have to wait 3 business days, for eBay to step in. So with July 5th being a Friday, I had to wait Saturday, Sunday, that did not count against my 3 days, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that brings us to July, I'm trying to do the math in my head, 10th. On July 10th, I asked eBay to step in. eBay asked me to contact the buyer and asked the buyer to open up a item not delivered claim. At that point, the buyer told me that they had already contacted eBay and that eBay was taking care of it. eBay told me that they would be stepping in at that point and investigating. So July 10th, they opened up the case. This whole time, $140 has been on hold, which was my share of the payout from this putter, which I was not concerned about. What I was concerned about is that I wasn't making any sales during this time. And this is when we start to get into the conspiracy. So eBay actually stepped in. They did the right thing. They reviewed the case. They decided that I did nothing wrong as the seller. I'm 99% sure that they thought that the buyer was lying, and they decided to close the case, release the funds to me, and not refund the buyer. I thought it was very interesting that they actually told me in the summary that they decided not to refund the buyer. And I'm guessing they either contacted UPS or they had some sort of information that stated that that item was in fact delivered to the address that was provided. But the interesting part, as we flip on over to Flipwise here, is that from July 4th all the way up until July 14th, I barely had any sales, when I've been averaging about 1 sale a day. So you could call it the summer slowdown. But I think that eBay was trying to protect themselves, and I think they throttled my listings during this 10-day period when my funds were on hold and this claim was opened up. So here's where things get quite coincidental, as some might say. I am a part-time reseller. I only have 50 items in my inventory right now. I average about a sale a day. But as you can see here from this graph, starting on July 4th, sales really dwindled off. The only way that I made sales from the weekend of the 6th and 7th were by me going out there and offering and making offers to buyers on items that I had watchers on. I normally get organic sales over the weekend, and then for the rest of the week, all the way through the 13th, I had maybe 3 sales, which is very abnormal. I generally get about a sale a day, if not a sale every other day. But within 24 hours, so after my case was closed on July 14th, my store absolutely exploded. And during that time, I am pouring in new listings. I've really been focused this month on sourcing, getting good items into the store. Golf normally does not suffer from the summer slowdown. If anything, it is probably a summer slowdown buster for those of you out there that are looking for items that sell very reliably throughout the summer. The night of the 14th, the night that that case was closed, I had 6 sales that happened. And it was all organic. It was not driven through best offer or me making an offer. It was somebody just going in, finding the listing, clicking it, and pulling the trigger. And to me, that does not seem coincidental. I truthfully do think that eBay does throttle, or the algorithm does throttle, sellers' items if there is an open investigation or a return out there that is pending. Let me know what you think. Put on your tinfoil hat to protect yourself, and comment down below if you think that this is purely circumstantial, or if you think that there is some truth behind this conspiracy. If you made it this far in the video, I know I said I was going to share my top 10 sales with you so far this month, but I think that What I'm really interested in is to get your feedback, to let me know if you are an experienced reseller and if you have seen a dip in your sales when you have had a return or when you've had a case opened by eBay. Please share with me down below in the comments. If you are going sourcing this weekend, I hope you hit a complete hole-in-one. I hope that you can resell something for a ton of money. And until next week when I post my what sold video, please keep your tin hats handy. Be careful out there, and I'll see you next week.